A deadly fungus, usually confined to Japan and Korea, has been discovered in a rainforest on the outskirts of Cairns. Now, scientists say poison fire coral is the only known fungus that is poisonous to touch, as its toxins can be absorbed through the skin. Mycologist Matt Barrett from James Cook University in Cairns describes the fungus and the danger that it poses.
It's a little red club-shaped fungus that tends to grow in rainforest and forest through, now we know, through Southeast Asia into Australia. It can give you some kind of reaction when you touch it, but it's really deadly when you ingest it.
G'day guys, and welcome to Aussie English. My objective here is to teach you guys the English spoken down under. So whether you want to speak like a fair dinkum Aussie, or you just want to understand what the flippin' hell we're on about when we're having a yarn, you've come to the right place. So sit back, grab a cuppa, and enjoy Aussie English. G'day guys, welcome to this episode of Aussie English. If it's your first time listening, it's great to have you here, and if you are a repeat offender, if this is not your first time, you've come back, welcome back. So this is Aussie English, guys, the number one podcast for anyone and everyone wanting to learn advanced English. You're in that intermediate plateau, you're really wanting to take it to the next level, get out of it, and really improve and speak more like a native. This is the podcast for you, and it's also obviously from the angle of an Australian. So you'll learn a lot of different Australianisms, lots of slang, expressions, culture, history, everything like that, right? It's chock-a-block full of Australia. So it's great to have you here, guys. I hope you enjoyed that little snippet at the start of the episode. That was a small clip from the channel ABC News on YouTube. I'm always ranting about this channel, guys. If you are down under in Australia, please go to YouTube, sign up to the ABC, or subscribe rather than sign up. It's free. Subscribe to the ABC News channel, and you can watch the 24/7 news live stream channel, right? So I put this on pretty much every morning to sort of have an idea of what's going on in Australia. And I think you can watch this from anywhere in the world. So it is a great way to learn about history, culture, news and current affairs, whilst also practicing your listening comprehension for Australian English. Now, that story was about a deadly fungus that has just been found in far north Queensland called the poison fire coral fungus. And it has made headlines because it's deadly if ingested, and one of the symptoms is shrinking the victim's brain, right? How horrible does that sound? Try wrapping your head around that. Ooh, pun intended. Anyway, guys, if you would like the transcripts for this podcast and you want to use the premium podcast player, whilst you're reading these episodes, listening to these episodes on your phone, on your computer, make sure that you shoot over to aussieenglish.com.au/podcast and sign up for the premium podcast. And if you want to take your English to the next level with all of my advanced English courses, as well as all of the extra content for today's expression episode and the Aussie fact episode, the natural English dialogues, the history and culture of Australia courses, everything in there. There's like 100 different courses in there, guys. Make sure that you sign up for the Academy. Now, you can do this via aussieenglish.com.au/Academy. All right, spiel aside. Let's get into the Aussie joke. All right, so it's not an Aussie joke per se, but it's a funny joke. So I was thinking, all right, the expression today is about brains, right? About the head, which is why I chose that story at the start about the poison fire coral, which can shrink the sufferer's brain. And then I thought, I'll try and find a brain joke. Okay, so I found a brain joke. Here's the joke. What kind of bees eat brains? What kind of bees, you know, those little insects that collect honey and they go back to the hive? Those are bees. What kind of bees eat brains? Are you ready for this? Buckle in. It's a good one. It's a ripper. It's a howler. You're going to laugh. Zombies. Zombies. Do you get it, guys? You know, if you watch The Walking Dead, right? The TV show The Walking Dead, zombies are those people who are bitten by another zombie, usually, and they die and then come back from the dead and then they want to eat brains, right? Ooh, brains. Those are zombies. So the pun here is the word zombie with the word for the insect, bee, right? So zombies. What a dad joke. All right, so today's expression is to pick someone's brains. Oof, that doesn't sound very nice. To pick someone's brains. This was suggested by Vivian in the Aussie English group on Facebook. Make sure, guys, if you want to improve your Aussie English whilst you're scrolling through Facebook and you want to see the stories and the info that I share, just do a search for Aussie English on Facebook and join the group. So, good job, Vivian. So let's go through and define the different words in the expression to pick someone's brains. Oof, to pick someone's brains. So the verb to pick, if you pick something, it's going to have a few different meanings, right? So it could be that you are detaching or removing something from where it's growing, right? So you might go into your garden and pick some flowers. You might pick some fruit out of a tree. You know, you might pick an apple off an apple tree in an orchard. You might pick some veggies, right? You might pick a capsicum or a zucchini out of your veggie patch. So that's one way you can use the verb to pick. It can also be to choose, right? So if I had a few different veggies in front of me that I'd picked from my garden, I might choose, I might pick one that I want to eat, right? So it means to just choose one thing from a number of alternatives. And the last version of the verb to pick is to repeatedly pull at something with your fingers. So if you get a scab on your arm, you know, where you've scratched your arm, you can pick at that scab. And I think that's the term here, the way that pick is being used in the expression to pick someone's brains. It's as if you're picking with your fingers or something at someone's brains to get an answer for something, right? So obviously a brain is an organ inside your head, inside your skull that you think with, right? So animals have brains, a brain. Zombies eat brains. So the expression, if you pick someone's brains, it means to obtain information by questioning someone who is better informed about that subject than you, right? So they have more information about that subject than you do. So you pick their brains, right? Imagine you're scratching their brains trying to get the information out. All right, let's go through some examples of how to use this expression. So imagine you're in some kind of work situation, you need advice from your boss on a certain issue. So you're at work one day, you're a programmer, a computer programmer, and you're writing some code for a new project that you're working on when suddenly you hit a wall, right? You get stuck, you come across an obstacle and you don't know what to do, right? You haven't got the foggiest idea what to do next. So you know that your boss is going to have the answer. So you swing past his desk at a time when you know he'll be there and he won't be busy. And you just ask him if you can grab him for 5 minutes and pick his brains about this issue, right? So you've hit this roadblock when you're coding some computer code, making a program. You don't know what you're doing. You need some help to get over this obstacle, this hurdle. So you want him to look at the problem with a fresh set of eyes and you want him to give you the answer. You want to pick his brains. You want the information from him. Example number 2. All right, so imagine relationship problems with someone. So you've been dating a girl or a guy and things have been a little stormy recently, right? They've been up and down. Your relationship with this person has been a bit of a roller coaster ride, right? Up and down. And you want to ask your friend for their opinion about your relationship. So you call up your friend. You might ask them out for coffee, you know, say, do you want to grab a cuppa sometime? We'll swing past the cafe nearby. I'll get you coffee because I need to get your 2 cents. I need your opinion on this problem. So you go out, you grab a coffee together, and then you say, hey, so I've had some relationship issues recently and I wanted to pick your brains about it. Should I dump the person? Should I stay with the person? Is it all me? Is it in my head? Am I getting upset over nothing? Am I getting upset over spilt milk? Can I please pick your brains about this problem? Can you please tell me what you think? Well, what should I do? All right, and example number 3. Imagine you are a student finishing your bachelor's degree at university here in Australia somewhere, right? You know, Deakin, RMIT, Melbourne University, Monash University, and you're trying to figure out which way to go in terms of maybe doing some more postgrad degrees, like a master's degree, an honours degree, or maybe even potentially a PhD, right? A doctorate. So ultimately, you're trying to work out what to do with your career. So you ask your friends one day if they're keen to catch up, shoot the breeze, you know, talk for a bit about things, and find out from them where they think you should go next with your life, with your career. So you catch up together, you sit down, and you get straight into asking them what they reckon you should do. You pick their brains. You get their opinions, right? You want to know what they reckon. You want to obtain information about this issue from them because you think they're better informed. All right, so hopefully now, guys, you understand the expression to pick someone's brains. It is to obtain information about something from someone who's better informed about that thing, right? To pick someone's brains. So, mate, can I pick your brains? I need to find out what you reckon about this problem. What do you think? Like, what do you know? Help me with this, right? To pick someone's brains. So now let's go through the listen and repeat exercise, guys. And this is where I will say a series of sentences, one after the other, and it's your job to repeat after me and practice your pronunciation. So focus on things like my intonation, my pitch, my pronunciation of the individual words, right? Do I leave out certain letters or sounds, okay? So pay attention to this and find a quiet place somewhere where you're away from the rest of the world and you can speak out loud and practice, okay? Speak, speak, speak. 2. To pick. To pick someone's. To pick someone's brains. 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 Good work. So as usual, the to, when it's spoken quickly, followed by some kind of, word, a verb or something like that, or a noun, you'll hear it get reduced to just t instead of to, right? We use the schwa. To pick, to pick, to pick. And you might notice there that K sound, the k sound at the end of the word pick, it kind of links in with the S sound at the start of someone's. To pick someone's brains, right? To pick someone's. So it's almost an X sound. Pick someone's. So focus on that in the future, okay? Now let's go through this sentence. I want to pick their brains. You want to pick their brains. We'll conjugate through all the different pronouns and then we'll finish up, okay? Let's go. I want to pick their brains. You want to pick their brains. She wants to pick their brains. He wants to pick their brains. We want to pick their brains. They want to pick their brains. It wants to pick their brains. Good work, guys. Now, there's a few cool things happening there pronunciation-wise, right? You're going to hear want and to join together and get reduced, right? You're going to hear the word wanna, wanna. Or you might hear the word wantsta, wantsta, wantsta. I wanna. You wanna. She wants to. He wants to. We wanna. They wanna. It wants to. Good work. And the last thing there is that, again, the K at the end of the word pick, it's not really clearly enunciated like a pick sound. It actually sort of joins in there with the TH, right? So you'll hear to pick their brains. It's almost like this little release before the TH. Pick their brains. Their brains. To pick their brains. To pick their brains. To pick their brains. So work on that fluidity, right? Linking these sorts of really difficult sounds in English, and you'll sound much more like a native speaker, okay? Especially when you have these sorts of consonants next to one another. Pick their brains. So I'm going to say this series of sentences one more time, and I want you to try and make those changes in pronunciation, just like me, as well as you can, okay? Let's go. I want to pick their brains. You want to pick their brains. She wants to pick their brains. He wants to pick their brains. We want to pick their brains. They want to pick their brains. It wants to pick their brains. Great job, guys. Great job. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to give it a review on whatever podcast app you are listening to this podcast through, because that helps me reach higher up in the search algorithm, get noticed, and accrue more listeners just like you, so that I can help more people and obviously keep doing what I'm doing. So if you're using iTunes or Stitcher or Spotify, please just take a few minutes to review the podcast. I'd really appreciate it. And also, keep an eye out for the next episode, the Aussie Fact episode, where we're going to talk about this deadly fungus that recently was found in Australia, okay? So I will see you in that episode, and until then, I wish you all the best. Catch ya. G'day, mate. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Aussie English podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. If you'd like to get access to all of my other content and level up your English even faster, go to aussieenglish.com.au, where you can get access to the premium podcast, you can join the Aussie English Academy, or you can sign up for my other courses. Have a great one, mate, and I'll see you soon.